Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting into now? Been waiting with bated breath. We're getting into Love is Blind UK. We are now on season 1 of this show, the UK being Love is Blinded. Anyway, we are now into episode 1, which was called The Pods Are Open. So the dates begin. So let's see what mess these people can get themselves in, and let's see who we kind of gravitated towards already, and kind of who we can throw in the back burner might have a little bit of a red flag. Anyway, before we get into this video, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm on and do videos. Please comment, like, share, do all the good things that you do, because I am on the road to 1k. So let's see if these people can actually focus on the task at hand. Do you know what I mean? Because they're all going to be set out to try and impress the people that they would like to get with. All right, that's a given. That's what they're going to do. At the end of the day, these women want to come out with a proposal from the men that they're interested in, and these men want to have that proposal accepted when they decide to do what it is that they're going to do. Okay. So you see, the lads and the girls all come into their different sectors, and then you have Matt and Emma Willis who are hosting it, and they introduce themselves. They give the whole spiel, the whole explanation, like we don't need it. I mean, there's been so many Love is Blind so far. We don't need the explanation. We know what it is meant to do. Okay, but I just think, you know what, Love is Blind brings out, like, some of these reality TV shows brings out the worst in people, like, seriously. So you see Sam and Ollie first in the men's quarters, and then you hear from Shirley, who is a junior doctor. Props to her. And they asked, like, you know, the women, what has brought you here today? She kind of sounded like she dumbed herself down at the beginning, because that was in my opinion, she kind of sounded like she dumbed herself down, because she was saying, oh, in my opinion, it's the men, and that's how she put it. And the girls were all kick. I was like, yeah, no, that did not give what you thought it gave, but hey ho, you carry on with yourself. Anyway, so basically she goes on to explain that she's there for marriage, and she's struggling to find someone who wants the same life goals. But my question on that is, will you get the same from that person on a TV show? Because it is a social experiment, to be fair, to see if you can actually fall in love with someone sight unseen, and see if you can actually make a go of it. There's only been a select few special people that we've seen, and we already know who they are, that have managed to make it to years of marriage and still be happy. Do you know what I mean? And that show helped them along, because my view is that, okay, the show can pair you off, but when it comes to the next bits, all of that is up to you. How you deal and with each other, how you communicate with each other, how you interact with each other, how you listen to each other, how you do for each other is all up to you. Don't let the outside noise fuck you about, is what I'm going to say, because there's too many people in these shows that become the bad guy, basically, or the bad person at the end of the day. They like to make little whispers, they like to do little things to judge things up, and we all know who that is going to be up in these series, let me tell ya. Anyway, I always think when it comes to this, yes, you can try and speak to a person sight unseen and stuff, but it's kind of like type attracts type at the end of the day, because as you're talking to that person, you're going to get an idea of whether you are connecting with that person, either on an emotional sense, a sexual sense, or just on a friendship base, or if it's all three melded together, bonus, you know that's your person for you. But then it's also got to be the same for the other person. But I don't know, I think some people will kind of go in there, as they always do, with a little bit of expectation of who they're wanting to speak to, how they want to portray themselves. But sometimes when you come with a falseness, that can't carry on throughout the process, because your falseness starts to fall, basically, and everybody starts to see the real you, who you actually are. So we see Connor, and he's basically saying that he's looking to find a connection with someone on the deepest, profoundest level that he can. And I'm like, once again, once you have chosen that person in the pods, if they choose you, as again, it's going to be about you two. It's going to be how you two interact with each other, how you two can actually complement each other, especially when you're in this bubble, and then outside of the bubble, especially when friends and family starts to filter in and other people start to filter in, and again that outside noise. How are you going to deal with all of that? Are you going to be a united front with each other, or are you going to completely just be bickering at the end of the day? So we do see a bit of a girl called Natasha, and then the dates start. So basically, they haven't strayed far away from the concept of the US one and every other one that's been before it, to be honest with you. Freddie, let me tell you, when I say Freddie is gorgeous. Freddie is gorgeous. So basically, he's saying that he believes he is a catch. He's not arrogant with it though. He's bloody beautiful, but he's not arrogant with it though. And he's a funeral director. I was like, okay, we'll see how that goes, because every time he kept on saying it to the girls, they were like, what, wow, are you joking? But nah, he wasn't. But yeah, Freddie is gorgeous, and he does have the personality to match. He seems quite a nice guy. So yes, I already like Freddie from bat. Okay, so then he has this date with Catherine. So basically, Catherine has dates with Freddie and with Ollie. She makes both connections there. Now, to me, throughout the process, it seemed as though Catherine was leaning more towards Ollie than she was towards Freddie. But there's circumstances that happen, because we do meet Demi, who's basically put her all into to Ollie at the end of the day. So we basically meet Demi, and she has her conversations with Ollie, and their conversations are like, you know, top notch, like really top notch. And to be fair, I don't really see Demi talk to anybody else but Ollie up in there, to be honest with you. So Freddie and Catherine do seem to get on well, and Freddie's talking about his background in the fact that he does have a brother and sister, but his brother has Down syndrome, and basically he is very close to his brother and vice versa, and close to his sister. So Catherine basically says that she does teach Down syndrome children to swim. So hopefully Freddie's picked a good one in this one. I have reservations with Catherine, and I will explain my reservation as time goes on, but I do. So you see Ollie and Catherine have their date, and their chat is a little bit more flirty than it is with Freddie. Ollie seems to be asking all the right questions so far, because he's starting to get to know her. He's getting to know the people that he wants. So he has select questions that he wants to ask. The same with Freddie. But with Freddie and Catherine, it's more of a deeper type of conversation that they have, especially when he talks about his family. Ollie basically said that he already felt like he's won, and he's been told by his friends basically that he dates with his eyes. So he has to like what he sees first. So for him, this is going to be a different type of aspect, and it's going to be a little bit harder, because he's going to have to connect emotionally. He's going to have to connect in terms of communication. He's going to have to connect in terms of making sure that he follows whichever part, either his head or his heart or both, is guiding him basically, because he ain't going to have that full visual of that person to be able to know whether he's attracted to them or not. It's going to be the personality, the substance of them, that's going to basically attract him or not attract him at the end of the day. So he's basically looking for a long-term person to complete the picture for him. We'll see. So then we see Ollie and Demi's dynamic. So they're both quite sporty people at the end of the day. And you can tell that with Demi and Ollie, their conversations are completely different to Ollie's and Catherine's, whereas Catherine's and Ollie's was a little bit more flirty, probably having a sexual undertone. Demi's and Ollie's is not. It's a lot deeper, a lot more thoughtful, and he is literally getting to know her better, and that's what it's there for. You're supposed to get to know them in depthly and ask the questions that you need to ask that you wouldn't have the opportunity to ask if you'd have met that person face to face at the end of the day. So I think Ollie is going to be a fan favorite for Demi and for Catherine. So Ollie feels like he has a friendship with Demi straight away, and basically that's his starting point. And again, Ollie does go back into the room and says that Catherine is giving him sexual vibes rather than friendship, relationship vibes. And I was like, okay, because that's kind of what I picked up when they were talking to each other. Because Demi does say to one girl, with Catherine sat right there, have you spoken to Ollie? And she was like, no. And she was basically saying, oh, and really gushing, and Catherine was just looking over. And this is why I say, don't chat your business up in them rooms. Like, seriously, don't chat your business up in them rooms, because essentially, yeah, you're gonna form connections with the people that you're in the rooms with, because you're going through this experiment together. You're gonna form your little friendships, your little cliques, your little whatever. But these people are not essentially initially your friend. They ain't your friend straight away, because at the end of the day, they're in competition for these men the same way the men are in competition for these girls. So if there's an inkling that you two like the same man, yeah, it's best to keep that close to your chest. You don't chat about what you talk about in there. You don't chat about how you think things are going. None of that in the slightest. So Catherine basically already told Demi that she likes Ollie. And the first thing that Demi does is kind of give her comfort, kind of give Catherine comfort. And I'm like, that's unfair, because at the end of the day, Demi likes Ollie too. And I was just like, schoolgirl error number one, don't offer your comfort to your competition, because at the end of the day, if you sit there and think that these people are not in competition with you, you're sorely mistaken. I think if I was in there, I'd be proper cutthroat, you know. I'll be proper cutthroat. I ain't a business. I'll be proper cutthroat. I'll keep my cards very close to my chest, because I'm not getting into it with anybody, and I'm not gonna have someone like Catherine to come and sit down and question me about how my date went X, Y, and Z. Nah, that ain't gonna go. That is not gonna go. So even though Catherine's gravitated towards Demi, Catherine believed in her VC that no one didn't like Ollie at the moment. And I was like, little do you know, my girl, little do you know. So I don't think Demi should have to tell her who she's getting to know or who she likes, because in Catherine's VC she was saying that if someone did like Ollie, then she would like to know. I know you don't need to, because at the end of the day, you ain't gonna give the same grace to the other person. So we get to meet Sam, and basically Sam is talking about himself. He doesn't have I don't think, a good self-image of himself, but I think he's covered that up with a lot of hypeness and arrogance, to be fair. Very much a lot of arrogance is Sam. He basically said that he didn't like what he saw in the mirror, so he decided to have a nurse job. He then decided that he was going to come off all the dating apps that he was on and decide to go to the gym before he came to the show. For me, I think Sam will be the one to try too hard. For me, I think Sam will be the one that is trying to tell people what he thinks they want to hear, rather than actually being genuine. Because for me, he's not coming off genuine at all. And that was just from the first view with this man when he started talking. So Sam akined himself to Peter Pan, and I said, yeah, that's not good at all. From when you akin yourself to Peter Pan, that means you have levels of emotional immaturity, and you are an immature man yourself, because Peter Pan was the boy that never wanted to grow up. So Sam has a date with Jasmine, yeah, and he starts off with, you know, someone might look at his Instagram and like think one night stand or this, that, and the other. And I'm like, my dude, why would you say something like that? Are you trying to cut block your own self? What was the purpose? What was the reason for you to do that? So Jasmine asked him, okay then, if you said that, do you feel like you give off fuckboy energy? And his answer was, no, it's just an appearance. I don't go around chatting to a girl I don't know. And I was just like, Sam's not making no sense. He just outed his whole self with that whole comment, because I don't know why he made it. So the conversation keeps on going on. And basically, it seems to me that Jasmine is literally turned off by his chatter. Basically, she has some concerns in regards to the things that he has said to her in their dates, which I would be concerned about, because I'm kind of thinking, is this man seriously taking this shit? Is he taking it seriously, or is he there to fuck about, like to get airtime, to get whatever it is that he's looking for? Because you know what, some people do go on these shows thinking that they're going to get famous, they're going to get sponsors, they're going to get X, Y, and Z out of it, they're going to get the whole heap of followers. But if you come on there making yourself out to look like a rotted ass, no person in a right ass mind is going to follow you at the end of the day at all. They'll just look at you and think, what the fuck is this geezer on at the end of the day? So Sam has a date with Nicole, and basically he talks about how he is kind of high energy, and I was just like, right, at this moment in time, Sam is literally trying too hard to want someone to like him, and you can tell he's trying to sell himself as someone he is not. And that's when I got the vibes where I was like, yeah, I don't know about Sam. I'm not doing that connection with Sam. Nah. So Nicole asked him, basically, if you were 90 and you look back on your life, what would it look like? My man started talking about putting it in a book, it being the best book she would ever read. And that was his answer. He said it would be a love story of romance, that it would be so romantic. And I was like, yeah, you saw the moment that Nicole started to lose interest because Sam did not answer the question. This man has no depth at all. So Nicole calls him out, and basically says to him that I feel like you're saying the right things. No, he's not saying the right things entirely. He's trying to more so say what he thinks you want to hear. That's what Sammy's doing, and he's failing abysmally at it. Well, I thought he was failing abysmally at it because Jasmine picked up on that situation pretty quickly, and I thought Nicole did too. I really thought Nicole did too. So Nicole talks about how she has been married before and it didn't work out for her, so she kind of will have her guards up, but her guards didn't do her well in her picking. Let's just put it that way. Her cards did not do her well. So basically, Nicole is ready for a second chance. So Nicole meets a guy called Benaya. Ben, I'll call him for this instance. And he's lovely. Like, he is seriously lovely. He is a bit of a no-bad. Calls himself technically homeless, but he's not. It's just that his freelance work that he does takes him to stay in other people's houses. He doesn't have like a full-on fixed abode, but he's a person that does like to travel and like to go about and likes to go where the wind takes him, basically. And he feels that he's a bit more on that spiritual side. So Nicole, you can see Nicole is very impressed by him, and she values his values in terms of the conscious living, because that's what she wants. And then she talks about how she's of a conscious mind, body and spirit. And at that point, when she mentioned that, I think Benaya fell in love with Nicole right then and there. And I thought, you know what, these two work. For Nicole and Benaya they work. Nicole and Sam, no, they not work. They will never go and work. But Benaya and Nicole, yes, they made sense. So Stephen, you can see, like Sabrina, he goes back on a date with her, and you see that date go really well, and he gets kind of emotional when he leaves her because they've connected emotionally. But again, we'll see how that works for them. They do discuss children, and Sabrina doesn't rule out having children, but basically what she's saying is she doesn't have a need to have children. Basically, she wants whoever she marries to understand that she doesn't have this need to have children, but she'd like them to at least spend how many years or whatever getting to know each other as husband and wife first before she goes down the realm of having children. Now, I think in Stephen, whatever his name, I think it's Steve, mind was straight away thinking, oh my God, this woman don't want to have children, and I literally do want to have a child of my own. I want someone with my own DNA running around and stuff like that. So that is kind of a big thing to overcome, but I think Steve kind of misconstrued what Sabrina had said, because she did have to re-explain it to him again, and he then caught on, and it didn't make a big of an issue between the both of them, basically. So Jasmine is talking in her VC about her past and the fact that she had the biggest betrayal of all, in terms of with her last boyfriend, she'd found out that he'd had a child with another girl but continued to hit her up. And I'm just like, it's at these points where you're kind of like, have you dealt with the issues coming from that? Like, seriously, have you dealt with the issue of such a huge betrayal in order to not put the same thinkings and feelings onto the next person that you meet, to be able to open up and give them your all? Because I tell you what, when things like that happen, you will have a tendency to block your blessings. Let's just put it this way. How can you open up to someone else if you do have trust issues at the end of the day? Because that makes it harder for the other person to try and get to know the person that you are. So Jasmine went back to the room to have her date. She thought, I think she was going to be speaking to, oh God, who was Jasmine speaking to? Bobby. She thought she was going to be speaking to Bobby. In walks Sam. Jasmine did not look happy for Sam to walk into that room, let me tell you. So Jasmine took that opportunity to sit down and actually say to Sam that he had doubts, she had doubts about the comments that he's made, and of course in regards to his Instagram page. So he explained about him doing a picture with his top off, and he said beauty is only skin deep, inside is more important. So, you know, he likes Jasmine a lot, like really likes Jasmine a lot. Jasmine didn't give too much away at all at that point, because I don't think Jasmine is fully sold on Sam and who he is portraying himself to be. She clocked his number straight off the bat, and that decision has not changed for her. So you see Jasmine go and have a date with Bobby. And basically Jasmine is talking about how she would really like a certified lover boy. And I'm like, you know what? All these girls thinking they really want a certified lover boy until they get one, and then it's not what they want. So don't say that. Don't say you want that when you know full well you don't want no certified lover boy. You want someone that's going to be a certified lover boy for you and you alone. Okay? So Jasmine, you can tell, looks more alert, looks more involved in the conversation when it comes to Bobby, more so than she is with Sam. So Jasmine is very much taken with Bobby and he with her, basically. So Jasmine talks to one of the girls in the room when she goes back about how much she's feeling Bobby, but she says that with Sam, there's something telling her not to go there. I'm like, this man, Sam is trying too hard to be something that he isn't, and you can see it shining through. Like, seriously shine through. So you see Benaya and Nicole have another date, and you can clearly see that these two connect on a different level altogether, more so than the level that she connects on with Sam. With Sam, I felt that her connection with him was very superficial, especially coming from Sam's side, because he wasn't being his true self. But with Benaya, it was completely different. So he explains, like, he's traveling, which he says was a form of escapism. Because he then talks about how he had a difficult childhood and how it took its toll on his self-confidence and self-worth. But he also talks about the fact that he did work on himself in regards to that, and he opened up to Nicole, and Nicole felt that a life with Benaya would be actually quite liberating. And I thought, my girl, you can't get higher than that. Sam is not even meeting that need for you, so Benaya is the one for you. Benaya is the one for Nicole. We all see this. Like, we all see this. So I was like, at that point, do we hear a proposal for Benaya? So Sabrina, you see, go back to the girls' room, and Sabrina's talking to the girls about Stephen, about him wanting children. And I say, for some people, especially men, it's more so about how important it is then for their name to be continued at the end of the day. Basically, I think it's a conversation that they're going to have again, because, as I said already, Stephen misconstrued what it was that Sabrina was saying. So Sabrina and Stephen do have their date again, and he basically told her that he woke up apprehensive and scared about this discussion that they're going to have, because it's going to have to be known. So basically Stephen is saying he knows he wants to be a dad. For Sabrina, she said she doesn't think she has to have children, but wants to build a life with a husband and wife where they get to know each other first, which ain't too bad, to be fair. So she's talking about the fact that, you know what, she may not be able to conceive naturally, but would be open to surrogacy or adoption. Now, for Stephen, that was cool because at the end of the day, she hadn't shut the door on not having children. She was thinking of it in practical terms, and that's where the miscommunication came with them two. So basically, Stephen asked about Sabrina's childhood, and again, Sabrina is another child whose father is basically wasn't around. He kind of like up and left them. So again, there's a few people in here where their parent has upped and left them without a nihil bio leave and not really had that engagement with their child since they've done that. So now you've got the feelings of abandonment going on with these people and fear of rejection going on within these people. And all I'm gonna say is I hope they've dealt with the trauma of that. But we shall see how they deal with difficulties as time goes on. So Stephen did talk about the fact that he was with someone, got to the point where they were engaged to be married, and what had happened is she ended up finding a tumour, and he went through that whole process with her, was there for her, wanted to be there for her, until she got to the point where she was quite sick, and she told him basically that she no longer wanted to be in a relationship with him, that she couldn't do it anymore and she needed to concentrate on herself. He said it was hard to do, but he accepted what she said and kind of walked away. He doesn't know how well that person's doing now, because he's kind of like, you know, he's had to move on to the next chapter in his life, which he says brought him to this process and to Sabrina at the end of the day. So we see Freddie and Catherine together again. It seemed to me at this point that Catherine was all about Freddie and Ollie seemed have to be forgotten about, but then she turns around and says that Ollie has her head confused. I would say go with the person that makes you feel deeper, and for Catherine, the person that made her feel deeper was Freddie. Ollie is more flirty, whereas Freddie has that emotional connection with her. But Ollie likes Demi, and Demi is the vibe for him. So to be fair, I knew that Ollie was going to pick Debbie. He wasn't going to pick Catherine because he didn't feel what he felt in terms of the conversations with Demi that he had with Catherine were there. At the end of the day, he didn't feel that deepness from her. It was more of a sexual flirty vibe, and that's all it was. So you see Demi and Ollie having another talk, and basically she asked him if she was like really quite snappy and weren't feeling it at that point, because there's a reason why Demi's asking this question, and we'll get to that soon enough. How would he bring her out of that? At first he joked and said he would probably stay with one of his friends over the weekend. So like, yeah, you should take his first answer, and he's on his answer to begin with. But then he does tell her that, you know what, she's the type of person that even though she kind of appears to be standoffish, she needs lots of cuddles and forehead kisses. He basically said that she's the type of person that doesn't need space, she needs reassurance. Demi liked that because it was true. So Demi was basically saying that she knows where her heart is, but she doesn't want to be vulnerable. So Ollie asked her, well, where's your heart at? She said it was with him. And I thought at this point now, Ollie needs to be honest, because he's still talking to Catherine too. He hasn't made his choice up. He was honest with her, and he told her that he's not 100% sure yet. He's got to sort out the Catherine situation at the end of the day. But I think Demi letting him know that was a little bit too early. But at the end of the day, you have to say what you feel. You have to say how you feel in your heart for the other person to either accept that and receive that, or say, yeah, now's not the time type of thing. You could see that it hurt Demi with him saying that. So you see Demi go back into the women's room, and this is what I mean about people being too steadfastly nosy in your business, because Catherine is then sitting there questioning Demi about Ollie. I'm like, it's none of your business, my girl. Keep out. You worry about you and yourself and what it is that you want to do, but keep yourself away from Demi and Ollie's situation, because it ain't it ain't Catherine, Demi and Ollie's situation at the end of the day. So because Demi wasn't asking Catherine about her dates with him or anything like that, she was just giving Catherine the grace to do what she needs to do with the guy at the end of the day, and wherever the chips may fall, they will fall. Demi don't owe Catherine nothing. She don't need to speak to her about nothing. It's not her place to say on where she is with Ali. Ali is going to be the one to say to both girls on where he is with either one of them and which choice he's going to make at the end of the day. So Demi is feeling crushed that she is not Ali's number one right now. But it's about giving space and basically him letting them know about where he is. So Demi in her VC says that she finds it hard to put herself first because she is a bit of a people pleaser. And I was like, yeah, Catherine's probably picked up on that and that's why she's doing what she's doing. I thought in this situation, Demi is going to have to be the selfish one. She's going to have to just think of herself altogether at the end of the day. I just didn't like how Catherine was coming at Demi, having all the audacity in her VC to say she doesn't see a connection between Ali and Demi on the outside. What business is it of yours? And this is why Demi needs to be raw selfish and keep her cards close to her chest for real. So we see Stephen and Sabrina, very first proposal of the first couples. So they meet. We have our first proposal. He wrote a poem for her, says he loved her, takes a knee, asks her to marry her. Why does Sabrina do a whole raw speech? Like, she led with a whole raw speech. And I was like, what's the answer? Like, is it a yes or a no? And then she went on to a but, and I was like, oh God, that's never good when someone goes but into their sentence, because right now at the moment it felt as though she was going to let him down. And I thought, oh my God, are we going to have the first letdown within the boxes? But we'll see. We will see, because that's where that episode ended, and I'll be back in quick succession with the next episode. As I always ask, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so you know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share, and do all the good things that you do, because I am on the road to 1K. And I'll be back across your screens very, very soon. Peace out.